Hey guys, all right, let's get right into it. How do I increase the longevity of my unit? Well, that comes in a couple of different ways at least. Number one is the most important consideration is the model number and the unit itself. Now, I have found all super hair pieces, hair systems to hold up well and to be durable. But understand this, hair systems, different models, they are all made for different purposes. Some are made with longevity in mind. So if that's your priority, you certainly need to look that direction. Others are made with a completely natural, undetectable hairline, which tend to be a bit less durable. So if you're particular as I am and you don't want that hairline to ever show, you want to slick it back and nobody can tell anything except it's hair coming out of your head, then you'll want to look at a model number that will say great for combed back exposed hairlines. But so there is something there for everyone. Now, the unit I have on presently, you guys know that I am this massive HD 111 Super Hair Pieces unit fan. It is the king of the world, and all others bow to it. Let me just say that. But here's the caveat. It's not what I have on now. I have on the M101. Yes, M101. Sometimes M101, that's right. It is a bit of a thicker skin unit. I think it is 8 mils, I believe, which the HD 111 is 3 to 4 mils, something like that. So yeah, that's a lot of difference. And but I will tell you this, if you're looking for longevity and you also want something that looks natural, this may be your go-to. You can see that looks pretty darn natural. Hairline's pretty darn good. But this is what I've discovered. When I first installed this is day 2 on this unit. After day 3, tomorrow, it's probably not going to satisfy me as far as the undetectability of the hairline. Now, tomorrow, if you walked up to me and looked at my hair, you wouldn't see it. I can promise you that. Day 4, you still wouldn't see it, particularly if you have any hair coming back down on your forehead over your hairline at all. But still, even that, you wouldn't. But I see it, so sorry, that bugs me. So it'd be coming off and I'm doing it again. So, but here's the thing, durability. And I'm saying this in the most positive way. This baby right here is a tank. I mean, it doesn't shed, it doesn't thin. And the hair on this particular unit is I forget the actual density, but it's thicker than the HD 111. I really like that. Plus, this one had a little more curl to it, which I like times 100. I like it having a little more curl and a little more body. I can do more with it. I can comb it forward, I can comb it back, I can do lots of different things. But it is extremely durable. M101, extremely durable. It's a tank. It still looks natural enough. Would look completely natural to anybody that walked into my house right now here today. So that could be your go-to with durability. But then let's talk about some other things that we can do. So I've heard other people, this is no big secret, you know, when you're shampooing it, you don't want to scrub your head like you would if you had natural hair. You just want to be kind of gentle. You want to use a shampoo that's going to be good on the color and not strip the color out. Cheers, little Topo Chico. Not strip the color out and then condition it. I'm kind of overkill with all of that. You guys, I've got Back to Natural Hydro Balance Organic Luxury Conditioner. I've got the shampoo, then I've got this natural back to natural, spray in, leave in conditioner. And I love all of those products. But so condition, use a good shampoo, a good conditioner. There are all kinds of resources, all kinds of different options out there, and there's more than one right answer to it all. The best is get one. You say, oh, wow, this is always what I do. I don't care what's advertised. I will use something and say, hey, I can really tell the difference. And then occasionally I'll find something that's like, whoa, yeah, that's the one. So that'll be your experience too. Uh, I can give all kinds of advice on that. But anyway, so longevity, the actual unit, first of all, uh, the shampoo and conditioner that you use, being gentle with it. Understand that these things are made, and if it's the HD111, the M111, or the XT, which is the very very thin version, I like them all. I can make them all work. But if I had to choose one, it'd be the HD111. And then another is how much are your hands in it in the day? Uh, you're constantly doing this. The more you mess with it, the harder it is on it. Uh, this is something that you do need to care for. You've spent some money for it, and so you need to respect it. And if you do, it will give you a lot back in return. But another thing, whenever you've shampooed it and conditioned it, and you first have to blow it dry, uh, if you can comb it in place and let it dry by itself, marvelous. That is most definitely the way to go, by not putting any heat on it at all. That will really increase the longevity in the unit. I can't really do that because I have a vision in mind of how I want it to look, and generally I have to force it into that whatever mood I'm in for the day. So I usually always blow it dry, but it is on a lower heat and a lower setting, so as not to burn it. Because with mine, the darker hair is natural hair, but the gray hair is synthetic. It's my choice. I think the synthetic hair to me is less frizzy and more manageable for me. But man, that synthetic hair will melt if you get it too hot, and then it'll get like fuzz on the. It was bad news. I've done it before. And so you want to be careful. So if you can avoid blow drying, that's just really the best choice for longevity. But if you have to, use a low heat. And also when you're combing, brushing it out from being wet, be super careful. Generally what I'll do is just kind of hold it up, and I'll just comb a layer brush. I'll use a brush at a time. There's such thing called a wet brush, and then there's something even better called a wet comb, a detangling comb. That works really, really well. I have clients at the shop who have long hair and it'll be tangly or whatever, and man, I can take that and it just slips through that like crazy. So because when it's wet, it seems to be a little bit more fragile, and if you've got tangles in it and you just scrape through that, well, you're going to wind up with maybe a bald spot, most probably, or even in the worst case scenario with a tear or a rip in the skin of your system, which you definitely don't want. So that's another thing you can do to increase the longevity of the system. But again, if that longevity is the biggest thing to you, get the M101. Get this thing that's a tank, and I think you'll agree. It looks pretty good. I mean, I really, it looks super super nice, and I really love the hair on it. And really, what I would love is to have the hair that's on this M101 put on the HD111. That would create this utopia of paradise, to have an HD111 a little thicker with a little more curl in it. I think I might like spin off the face of the earth. I'd be so happy with that. Anyway, um, so yeah, being careful with that, and with that brush and those tangles, definitely so. Then when you're removing the system, you want to use some kind of C22 or some kind of solvent, to where you're not having to tug excessively on that. Uh, when my unit's been on 7 days, it comes off pretty easily. It doesn't resist too much. But if I have a problem with the front hairline, and I'm not going to try to patch it, anytime I've tried to pull it up and redo just the front, it always looks like crap when I've tried to do that. So it's going to come all the way off. That's when I get into trouble, when I have to be really healthy, really careful. and just pull it off. Use C22, let it do its work, pull it off a little bit more, and it comes off pretty easily, because you can really damage a system trying to take it off when it's really still stuck pretty hard to your head. There have been a few guys I've talked to that said they put it on and it was in such the wrong place and crooked and everything else. They had to go and take it right back off. Woo! That's a trouble right there, because it is hard to get off and it's hard on your scalp. So those kinds of things help. Anything that seems stressful to it. I guess the bottom line is the less you do to it, the better it is. Um, the less heat you put on it, the better it is. The more you shampoo and more you condition it, the better it is. Always use some kind of leave-in conditioner. Um, I have all kinds of things at the shop. We carry Aveda hair products, and so I have a whole arsenal of all of that stuff too. And so I make sure that I do that. And then when I go to install it, I use the Walker Ultra Hold. And a lot of you guys have kind of complained about how stringy that stuff is, and it is a little difficult to work with, and you kind of develop a certain finesse in putting that Ultra Hold on there, because I use a little, you've seen me do it on the channel, I've used a little brush and spread it around all the way out to the edges and let it dry. And it has, for me, with my particular chemistry in this Texas heat and humidity, it has been the one to hold it the best. So with all that being said, I hope it helps some. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do to help with the longevity. Yeah, there is sun exposure. Man, that's about the hardest thing on it of them all. So you guys have seen in my videos, I've been at the pool, I've been at the beach, and yeah, I'm going to wear hair. Now, I try to wear hair this is what I do. This unit's older and I just about need to replace it. So if I'm going to the coast and I'm going to be in the salt water and out in the sun that much, guess which one I'm going to wear? I'm going to wear that older one. And I have an older M101 that's way, way, way gray that I can't make it look blended very well, but it works fine for vacation. I've worn it because, like I've said, it's a tank. I can pull the front down and cover the hairline up some because it doesn't hold up for a week in that heat and humidity like that. But I'll kind of over direct the front and just cover that hairline up a bit, stick it back down best I can. So yeah, heat is sun. Whew. Okay, understand the thing about hair color. Here it is, that when these systems are all colored, they're all chemically treated. They're all colored, they're all permed. And so that's two chemical processes. Now, when someone with bio hair comes into the salon and they get hair color, and then they say, I'd like to have a little perm, a little curl in my hair. I'll say, okay, but hear this, because to me, the condition of your hair is my utmost concern. You're not going to come into me and I'm just going to say yes to everything. I'm going to say this, what I'm going to say to you. This hair has been colored. It's been permed. So it's probably permed first. They put the curl in it, the body in it, and then it's colored. Well, what happens with those chemical processes is you look at that hair shaft, and the cuticle layer, the outside layer, is just like fish scales, one thing laying on top of the other. And when you put that chemical on it, you have that, the job of that chemical is to lift that cuticle up, all those fish scales up, so that it can get into the inside of the hair to change the structure of that hair to what you want it to be. Now, after that chemical process is finished, that cuticle lays down again, except not all the way. It's still 1% open and up. That's why sometimes the hair seems more tangly after a chemical like that. It's hitting that slightly up chemical. Now, let's say we turn around then and put hair color on that same hair. The job of that hair color, again, the peroxide is going to raise that cuticle again, because we've got to do one of two things. We've either got to deposit color inside of the hair shaft or take color out of the hair shaft. And so we do whichever is needed there. And the finished product of it, then when you rinse it, that cuticle closes back down. But now one's not one, it's two, because you've done it twice. So that cuticle is up 2 degrees now instead of 1. So what happens with that? Whatever it is you've deposited in that hair shaft, whatever color you've put in there, can wash back out, but it's not completely sealed down. Now there's a permanent hair color, there's semi-permanent hair color, there's temporary hair color. I know this is like hair color 101, but I just want you to understand the idea here of why it fades, why the color comes out. Natural hair, bio hair will do the same thing. And it is because that cuticle is not completely sealed. That's why the conditioner is so important. There are conditioners that will come in and they will do the job 2 different ways. A cheaper version of the conditioner will coat that hair shaft with wax and seal it over. And for a little bit, it'll look okay. The better ones are just going to come in and just fill in those little gaps where that cuticle is up. So it's going to be small enough that the cell, maybe can figure out what I'm trying to say here, will actually penetrate through that. Same thing with skin, with skincare. You can put a lot of stuff just that'll stay on the top of the skin, but like jojoba and things has a molecular structure that's small enough that will actually penetrate into the skin. So that's what we need to do with the hair, is have something to do that. So that's why it gets dry looking. That's why it gets frizzy looking. That's why the color fades, all of that. And then you get it out in the hot sun and bake it in that for a little while. Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster with these hair systems. I'm sorry that is so long, but I hope this has helped you. So guys, here's the bottom line. Stay fit, stay happy, stay hairy on your head, all of those things. And let's do life together. Let's do hair together. Let's have a good time. I don't know with you watching what age you are. I'm 68 and I am having the time of my life. At 68, I'm in the very best season of my entire life. So, what could be any better, really? Just happiness, joy, peace, and love, all that kind of stuff. But it does seem to be a little better with hair on your head. So, thanks, guys. Hang in there. Let's do this together. Peace, man.